Can you tell us about some of the things that you've seen people, the ones that said they wish you knew you before, like a couple of examples of some of the mistakes that were made?
Yes. So I see a lot of mistakes being made around pensions. Speaking of pensions, and pensions are not as easy to understand as an IRA account or a 401k account.
Right.
Pensions are confusing to a lot of people. Like sometimes they'll get an annual statement for their pension that has this number on it, and they think, oh, that's what my pension's worth. So I'm going to list that number in my financial disclosures.
Right.
But really, that number, that number means something completely different, and the actual value to you can be a very, very different number. And I see people just using the number that's on their statement, which might be a fraction of what it's actually worth. Or I see them saying, oh, I don't really know how my ex's pension works, so you just keep your pension and I'll keep the house, or I'll keep whatever else. And they don't understand what the pension is actually worth, because pensions can be very, very, very valuable. They can be worth millions of dollars. I mean, it's a major asset, and people will shy away from it because they don't get it. They don't understand how it works. Or they just misunderstand its value because of that stupid statement that gets sent out. And all that number means, if you have a pension and if you get a statement that has a number on it, what that number means is that's how much money has been contributed into this account on your behalf, whether maybe part of it comes from your paycheck, maybe part of it comes from the employer. It just means that this is how much money has been set aside in this account, but that's not how much you get. What you get depends on this formula that looks at what was your salary, how many years did you work, what percentage of your salary do they replace for every year, and they apply this formula which generates this monthly amount that you get. So the monthly amount that you get really doesn't have anything to do with that number that's on the statement. It's like two very different numbers. But people will make assumptions because it looks straightforward. It looks very confusing. So I've seen people give up giant pensions, just give them up entirely. I had a client where they both worked for the state. He had a really big pension. She had a very small pension, but those little annual statements made it look like there wasn't that much of a difference. And she's like, oh, well, I'll just keep mine and he keeps his. That'll make it easy. But it's like, no, his is worth $1 million more than yours. I also see people not understand the tax differences between their different assets. So for example, I was working with a client where she showed me what her ex had come up with in terms of a proposal for her. And I said, yeah, this looks kind of equal, but here's the thing. You're getting the retirement money, which is 100% taxable. And he's taking these stocks, which he just bought. So the cost basis is really high. He's going to pay practically no taxes on this. So maybe each of these accounts looks like it's worth $100,000 each, for example, but maybe you're going to get $70,000, $98,000. Like it's not equal at all. I just see people making assumptions that you make incorrect assumptions with that kind of stuff, and you can lose out on thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes. So it's just like not understanding all the individual pieces. All it takes is one little misunderstanding and you can give up hundreds of thousands of dollars.